So a guy unalived a woman, and apparently he fed her to his friends. The story is wild. Now, his name is Boogie Man, and he's a small-time Zaza dealer in New York. He's pretty much homeless, but one day he meets this couple, Sylvia and Sean. Sylvia and Sean agree to let Boogie Man live with them in their nearby 2-bedroom apartment if he agrees to pay half the rent. Chicken Man agrees, and he moves in. But here's the thing about Boogie Man. He's a weird dude. He's kind of crazy and often rambles on about how he's going to be a cult leader or how he's going to be president one day. He also carries this pet rooster around with him all the time on his shoulder, which is why people started calling him Boogie Man. Anyway, now that Boogie Man is in a better situation himself, a few times a week, he likes to cook up about 30 to 40 tums of soup or pancakes or whatever, and he brings it to the park to make sure all his homeless friends get a hot meal. So that's nice of him. Soon after Boogie Man moves in with Sylvia and Sean unfortunately break up, and they decide to move out of the apartment. Boogie Man is like, oh, Sylvia, but I can't afford this apartment alone, and he doesn't want to be homeless again. So he decides to look for a new roommate. That is when he meets this woman, Monica. Monica's a dancer from Switzerland, and Boogie Man thinks she is F. Monica also happens to be looking for a place to live. Boogie Man brings her back to his place, and they end up smashing, and he's like, hey, want to be my roommate? And she's like, sure. Monica eventually moves in, and her name is added to the lease. A few days later, Monica starts bringing random guys home with her to smash, and as you can imagine, this pisses Boogie Man off. He really likes Monica, but she only sees him as a friend/roommate. They start fighting about this, and after all this chaos goes on for a while, boom, Monica suddenly asks Boogie Man to move out and find a new place to live. Boogie Man is like, what? I brought you here? I don't even have anywhere else to go. That is the moment when Loki Boogie Man starts hating Monica. He starts going around and telling all his friends in the park that he's going to unalive her, but nobody believes him because he always just rambles and says crazy all the time. At some point, Monica has finally had enough of Boogie Man's crazy antics. She confronts him and tells him he needs to move out right now. They get into this huge fight, and during this fight is when Boogie Man finally just loses it. Suddenly, pow, he punches Monica in the head. Then he grabs an extension cord and starts to strangle her with it. He continues to beat her up, grabs a knife, and stabs her over and over again, 30 times until she's unalived. Then he puts her in a bathtub and dismembers her. A few days later, Sylvia goes to the apartment and lets herself in. There on the stove, she sees a big soup pot boiling, and she's like, oh, what's that? She looks in it and sees Monica's head, and she's like, oh my God, what the fish? Then she goes to the bathroom and finds parts of Monica's body in the bathtub. She immediately pages Boogie Man's pager, because I guess he has a pager, and they meet up. Boogie Man is honest about the whole thing. He tells her everything that happened. Like, yeah, I unalived her. Sylvia's like, you get that body out of the apartment. Boogie Man goes home and cleans everything up. Some of Monica he packs away in the freezer. Some of it he puts in a duffel bag and stashes at the local bus station. And some of her he boils down in the soup pot. Here's the thing though. This whole time, Boogie Man has still been feeding all the homeless folks in the park. And wouldn't you know it, he's been feeding them soup while also admitting to them that he unalived Monica. None of them believe him because he says crazy all the time. The homeless folks even start joking around that Boogie Man had been feeding them soup made of Monica, which honestly may have actually been true. But that's just a rumor. There really is no way to officially confirm that. Eventually, someone tells the police about Boogie Man, and they also report Monica is missing. The police investigate and question Sylvia, and she tells them about finding Monica's body parts in the soup pot and the tub. So the police pick up Boogie Man and question him. Dude is so crazy, he doesn't even try to deny any of it. He just says, yeah, I did what I did. What did you do? The horribleness in which what I did to her. I dissected her body totally. So then, bam, they arrest him. Boogie Man is charged with murder. He goes to trial, but he's found not guilty by reason of insanity. Apparently, he had been diagnosed with severe schizophrenia. They send him to a maximum security psychiatric facility where he apparently still lives to this day. So shout out to New York, I guess.